Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial thoughts. Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial thoughts. Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alieshia. The relocation series that I have been talking about is finally here. So these next 3 weeks, we'll be talking about relocating. Of course, by the title, you know what we'll be discussing, but also I'm going to share the 5 steps I took to move to Atlanta without any family or a job at the end of the episode. So these episodes are going to be called Moving Mondays. So if you are looking to move next year or know someone thinking about moving, please send them this episode. Share the series with them and tell them to join the family, okay? Also, I got a special surprise for y'all. If you join my email list, the link will be in the description to my website. You will receive a free relocation expense tracker. And I am also doing 15-minute free consultations if you are planning to move as well. That is also my website. You just sign in. You sign up for it, and then you will be able to meet with me. So let's hop right into it. I'm going to do the 4 things you need to do before you relocate to a new city. The first thing you need to do is create a plan. You might say, well, how do I create a plan? Boom, I got you, okay? So the first thing is you need to figure out where you want to move and the date you want to move, okay? So if you're just planning, I would say give yourself like 6 to 12 months. Some other ways that you can pick a date is if you have a new job you are starting, if you're quitting your job, if you have a lease at an apartment, things like that. But if you're just like, at your parents' house or at a family member's house, you just figure out what date you want to move by, and then that is your date. So that is the first thing when it comes to moving. You got to figure out a date and a plan. And if you have already found a spot, seeing when they open, seeing when they have openings available, then that's when you go. Okay, so first we need to create the plan. So write your dates and make it a hard date, okay? Make it a time that's not overpopulated, okay? I'm going to come back and tell y'all the best times that y'all should move. I'm going to do that in another episode. So the next one is the biggest thing, when creating a plan is finding a job. So this is under creating a plan. To find a job, it's so hard, okay? So this can be definitely tricky, but I know right now a lot of people are working remotely. The remote is becoming a little scarce, but a lot of people have remote jobs. So if you have that job, make sure to see if you can work anywhere. Think about time zones. That's a big issue. If they say you can only work in California, Nevada, don't be coming over here and moving to North Carolina, because baby, you're gonna be working later because of the time zone change. As if you're living in North Carolina, don't try to move to California, because baby, you're going to be up and you're going to be tired, okay? So, yeah, don't do that. But also when looking for a job, look on Indeed. That's a good one. LinkedIn is what I use. And also I use LinkedIn to connect with other people. When I figured out the city I wanted to move to, I changed my location on LinkedIn, and then I would get notifications. I changed it and for Indeed as well. And there's also something that's called Randstad. It's like contract jobs, kind of. I went on there as well, and that is how I found some jobs as well too. I didn't really do too much with Randstad. I kind of just used LinkedIn and Indeed, and I actually got my job off of Indeed, one of them. And then if you are in the school system, this is how I found another job. I went and I looked at cities in that school. And cities have different counties and different things like that. You can go on their website and you can look at schools. So that's how, if you are a teacher or something like that, you work in education, you can do that as well, looking at the different counties and going to look at their job postings. So that is what I did too. Then also, you have Facebook. So if you want, you can post on Facebook, reach out to your network, see if anyone knows anyone that lives there where you're moving to. Because I know finding a job can be definitely so hard. But if you have savings, that's great. You can kind of just use your savings to move. You can do gig work. I know that I did a little bit of gig work when I relocated, and even before, to save up money, I did some gig work. So you can look into doing Uber. You can look into doing Lyft, Shipt, Instacart. You can tutor virtually or in person. You can do Uber Eats. You can do Grubhub as well. So this can help you make some money daily so that you're not struggling. But just make sure that what location you're going to, you use the right zip code, because if there's no business in that zip code, they will not let you work there, kind of, because it's already overpopulated. So making sure that you're in the right zip code. You can try zip codes. You can research different zip codes. That would be really, really great, so that you know that you're going to be able to work when you get down here. I got lucky because I was able to work when I got down there. Either zip codes that I used, I was good, so that is another issue is the job. So if you have a job, if you work remote, I would say yay. If you don't, I would say look into your current job. Maybe they have locations in other spots, or just find another job. So the second thing you want to do, so this is 2, okay? You want to downsize. And when I say downsize, I mean go through papers, go through clothes and everything like that, because you can sell that stuff on Facebook Marketplace, or you can have a garage sale and you can make money. So if you're looking for extra money, just try to downsize and make some money off of that. Or if you're not really worried about the money, you just want to take as less stuff as you want to, you can donate it by giving it to friends. You can give it to the Salvation Army and different things like that. But definitely downsizing would be great. You can also look, if you want to, you can look into putting stuff in storage while you try to figure different things out. But I know that I had to move just everything in my car. So yeah, I would say downsizing. Or if you have a family member, you could take it to their house. If you have a friend, somebody else that might be moving, you can try to put your stuff over there as well. And yeah, so you can do that, because downsizing is going to be the best when you're moving and you won't have to just take and log so much stuff in there. But then when you get to your new spot, you can buy some more stuff. I know people talk about that all the time, because baby, I'm up for the buying new stuff when you get to the next one, because you just don't want to take all that stuff. It is just too much. So yeah, that is really big, downsizing. And I think that is really important, so that you know what you have and what you don't have. And then you're just not taking a whole bunch of stuff that you really want to throw away. So this is a good time to just, throw all your stuff away, go through it, and keep it moving. So the next one, the third one, is really, 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 really important. When I say really important, it's really important. So you want to research the city. Me personally, I would highly suggest doing a scouting trip over a weekend or a week to just drive around and see the different areas if you have that time available. If you want to use holiday time or different things like that, to be able to look at apartments. If you have kids, you can look at the different schools, the different areas, or you can even look at the crime rate in the area, look at shopping centers, see where the closest Kroger, Publix, Walmart, wherever you shop at, just seeing what's around. And I think that's really, really important when you're going to these bigger cities. They have these metro areas and different things like that. So just doing a little bit of researching. You can also research on Facebook. You can be in different Facebook groups. They'll tell you places to go, places not to go. And then just going out and being able to see it by yourself is really, really great. So I definitely recommend a scouting trip. I didn't do a scouting trip, but hey, you could do a scouting trip. And then when it comes to apartment searching, definitely you need to find housing. If you can't find an apartment, you can always do an Airbnb, or you can even rent out a room if you don't have kids. Now, if you have kids, you probably don't want to do that. But there's different apps. You, of course, can use Facebook groups. They have a whole bunch of roommate stuff. You can use Roomsters, and just like type in the city and add roommates or housing to it, and there should be a whole bunch of groups that pop up. You can also look into apartments.com. They provide numbers to the apartment complexes, addresses, and even some houses are on there. And if you want to drive around, you can really find just like rent to own, like by owner. You can kind of find those on Zillow, Trulio, and things like that. So if you want a house rather than an apartment, you can do it that way. I know people who like have bad credit or not have good enough credit. They usually go the house route than the apartments because the apartments be strict. Okay, so yeah. But if you're new to the area, I would suggest getting a hotel. Those kind of do get expensive, but I would suggest that, or getting an Airbnb, so you can just scope out areas you would like to stay in. Also, definitely watch YouTube videos. And I'm not trying to plug myself, but I am. If you're moving to Atlanta, I have apartment videos on my YouTube channel, Alieshias Adventures, if you want to check that out. Okay, you can go on there, but there's apartment tours for, you know, Texas, like Dallas, Houston, New York. And if you're listening to this and you're in a city that you don't feel like has an apartment tours, boom, there you go. You can do apartment tours for your city. People want to move to Miami. They want to move to New York. They want to move to LA. They want to move to Chicago. So people are looking at apartments. They want to see how much stuff costs and different things like that, because they are, wanting to move, and they're trying to figure out the best places to live without always having to go there. So that's just a little plug, okay? But within all that, when you get the job, when you get, the apartment, different things like that, you want to create a budget. So you want to create a relocation expense sheet and then a budget. So for instance, I had a relocation expense. My Airbnb cost $700. I was there for 3 weeks, but I was there with my roommate, so we split it, so it was really $1,400. Then I spent $150 on gas. I had to drive 6 hours. I ended up having to get new tires as well, so thank God for an emergency fund. And when you're looking at apartments, the application fees can start from $25, then they go to $150. Then they have this administration fee that could be like $300, $400. Then depending on how much you make, it depends on what apartment you get, but also it depends on what your credit score is, how much your deposit is going to be. So that changes. So you want to make sure that you have the income, which is usually 3 times the rent for the apartment that you're going to get. And then you would divide that, and that's how much you would pay for rent. And then also you want to factor in the U-Haul. You want to factor in your deposit, your gas, apartment shopping, if you're going to hire movers and everything like that. So that needs to all go into that. And like I said, slight plug, if you go click the link in the description for the podcast, you'll be able to get a relocation expense budget tracker downloaded. Okay, so go check that out, and you'll be able to write and keep up with everything that you need to move. And I spent almost $3,000 relocating from Kentucky to Atlanta. So that just gives you, a little glimpse, of how much it may cost to relocate. Okay. And this was actually during the pandemic. So I moved to Atlanta in July 2020. It's now November 2022. So that was about little over 2 years ago, but the apartments have been skyrocketing, houses have been skyrocketing. Wherever you want to go, though, you want to kind of look to see and kind of gauge it. And if you see some people who live there, you can ask some questions, because I was asking people questions, where to live, what to do, and different things like that, and like best places to stay and different things. So that is the 4 things to do before you relocate to a new city. Now I'm going to talk about the 5 steps that I took to move to a new city without a family or a job. So this is kind of like just a bonus one. I first had to find a roommate because that's the only reason why I was going there. I just knew somebody that I knew from Kentucky, and they were looking for a roommate. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I want to get out of Kentucky. I'm ready to move. Backstory why I moved out of Kentucky. It was just no jobs, truly, honestly. So, she was moving out from her one a place. She had to move out by a certain date, and I was starting a job. I ended up finding a job at a school. Oh, the pay was so low, so I didn't even take that job. It was like $7, and I'm like, I am not gonna be able to do nothing on that. But I gave myself that date. That date was like July 20th or something like that, because that's when training was going to start. So I had from like April to July to really get it together. But I was applying for jobs, and then in June I was like, oh, I'm moving in July because the job started in July. But I ended up not even taking that job, so it is what it is. I still was down here. So I don't know if I came too quickly because I didn't really want that job, but then I had another job that was going to start in August, so I was going to try to work those at the same time. So I ended up working 2 jobs for 6 months. Ooh, child, tell me about it. 7 days a week. But I applied for jobs in the city. I plan to move. So I saved my stimulus checks that they was giving. I mean, it was only about 2 of them. So I saved my stimulus checks. I started doing DoorDash and Postmates because I didn't have a job because it was the epidemic, but everybody was not trying to be out. So I was delivering. And even when I moved to Atlanta, then I started delivering as well after I got my new tires that cost me about $400. Ooh, so sad about it. Then we moved into an Airbnb for like 3 weeks, but then I think we stayed in the extra week because we couldn't find any place to go. Then we ended up finding a house, and then I started working. So then we had to pay the deposit, we had to pay the rent, and then I started working, and I kind of like got my money back up. But it was definitely hard. Okay, definitely hard. So yeah, I know I said I was going to tell y'all the best times to move. Probably will not be in the summer. I'm going to tell y'all because the summer is when people move who have kids. They want to get in before before school starts. They want to go to a new school district, different things like that. So the summer is really a high time to move. And I just moved down there because, again, school is starting. But now I'm trying to not move within the summertime because my birthday month is in August. So I'm trying not to really move during my birthday month. So summertime is not really a good time to move. Fall and winter maybe. And then like right before the end of May, which is like before that holiday. So summers are really not good to move. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the first episode of the relocation series. Next episode, we'll be talking about ways to adjust to your new city. So yeah, definitely if you like this episode, make sure you rate it. Make sure you leave a review. Leave me some comments or something like that. You might hear it on the next episode or whatever. And then, don't forget to go download the relocation expense tracker and book a consultation with me. Or if you know somebody who is looking to move, they can book a consultation with me too. You can always follow us on Facebook at Millennial Thoughts. Okay, you can like us up. You can join the Facebook group, or you can even follow us at Millennial Thoughts Network on Instagram. I am so excited to be finally doing this series and can't wait to chat with you all some more. Make sure you subscribe and share this with your friend, your mama, your cousin, your niece, or your nephew. Have a great night, morning, afternoon, whenever you listen to this episode. Bye.